about coming up on, it looks like 3 minutes to the hour. When that second hand gets on around, it's about 3 minutes and 30 seconds to the hour. And we've got some special guests that are going to be coming in. So I wanted to start a couple minutes early to give you folks some time to get in here, because this is going to be a really fun show. Let me get it up here on my iPad so I can monitor. There we go. We've already got some folks in the house. And Blue Shirt Buddhas was first in the house. Andrew was second. Unfortunately, I will once again have to listen in the car on my way home. Blue Shirt Buddha is listening in the car. Andrew, wow, fire at the Notre Dame, the spire. Oh, yeah, isn't that tragic? I cannot imagine a building like that they can't have adequate fire protection. So that's just so sad. I hope other buildings, similar buildings, take note of this and take the necessary precautions, get some sprinkler systems and systems in so that they don't have this sort of thing. It's just amazing. So our Wags is in the house. Yeah, the wrench gang's in here heavy. And let's see here. Durr's in the house, another member of the wrench gang. The wrench gang is definitely going to have the trolls surrounded today. It's okay, we can start now because I'm in the house, says Durr. Jeff is in the house too. And David Williams is in the house, another member of the wrench gang. Jeff is in the house. He's calling it sabotage. I hope that's not the case. That's can you imagine if somebody would do something like that? That's just amazing. Okay, and DA Machine 3 is in the house. Okay, so some folks are coming in, and we're going to be hearing from Steve at Little Treasury Jewelers, and he's going to have a special guest. And when he comes in, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our special guest to you. But we'll wait on Steve for a little bit here to see if he makes it in. He should be coming in via Skype. You'll probably hear the other computer ring. In the meantime, I'm going to cut to... oh, wait a minute now. Let's take a look here. Our special guest is giving us a preview here.
Oh.
Go ahead. Hold it up there. Go ahead. Hold it up there. Okay.
I didn't realize I was on the air.
Yeah, back it off a little bit. Back it off a little bit. Okay, good. Now get your hand flat behind it, your other hand. That'll help it focus on it. Wow. That's a stunner there. That's a little preview of what you're going to see from our special guest. He's a collector. He's got some Grand Seikos. And that one is, correct me if I'm wrong, rose gold. And,
right.
And you said that it has an 8-day power reserve?
It's the rose gold 8-day.
Okay, so that means it's a manual wind, right?
That's correct.
So it's a spring drive manual wind, and it'll literally go 8 days. Oh, Steve's calling. Let me try to connect him. Let's see here if we can get this connected. Steve is coming in the house. Okay, Steve. Let's see if he can get his audio squared away, and then we'll be good to go. I see his picture's looking good. I don't hear any audio from you, Steve. So we'll do a time check real quick while he gets the audio squared away. We're 10 seconds after the hour. 10 seconds after the hour, the official.
Okay, how's that?
He can get his audio squared away. Okay, all right, we're hearing the show.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, turn down the show. We're hearing feedback. Turn the show off on your monitor.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay, great.
And what are you using for audio, Steve?
I'm using the Sennheiser.
Your audio level's a little bit high. Can you adjust it down just a little bit?
I will try.
Okay.
To serve at the bottom of my Shure thing.
Take your time. And Durr says, Craig, the former Miss Maryland, going to be at the GS event, Little Treasury. She's phenomenal. I don't know if she's going to be at this one or not. That's a good question. She was a great MC. She did a good job, Christina Denny.
Yeah, we'll invite her again. Am I still too loud?
A little bit hot, but I mean, we can live with it, but you're a little bit hot. We need it down a little bit if you can.
I'll keep the voice down.
is there? Are you? Never mind. We'll go with it. Let's see. Rwag said, "Dur, are you going to the party on the 9th?" Okay, so there get some interaction going on there. Now, Steve, why don't you go ahead and introduce our special guest?
Sure. Today I've invited a client of ours and a good friend and a very good friend of Grand Seiko. He's a well-known collector to the brand, and he's Mike, and he's the DC watch collector. We've known him for a number of years now, and he is a totally devoted Grand Seiko person, and I think he's going to have some interesting tales for us today. So, Mike, you've been a Grand Seiko collector for a little while. Can you tell us how you got into it? What drove your passion? When and what got you there?
Okay. Yes. Can everybody hear me?
I can hear you actually better than Steve. Steve, we are getting some feedback from you. You don't have anything turned on any other volume, do you? Like the show on another device or anything? Okay.
No.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
Okay. Yes. I first became interested in actually in the spring drive in 2007. I had heard about that, and I know I was fascinated by the concept. So it took a long time for me to even locate a dealer who could sell me one. But I got that in 2007. It's the SNR 001. And I really liked that watch, although it was a little just too large for me. It's a very heavy watch. And this was before Grand Seiko started selling in the United States. So I believe it was 2010 that I heard about.
Do you still have that first watch that you got?
Yes, I do.
Could you show it?
Yeah, just a second.
Yep, take your time. This is live TV, folks. This is what we do. And
So,
Steve, we've lost your picture for some reason. It's just a black screen now.
here we go. Blue Man, huh? Okay, there we are. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the
Yeah, I have seen those before. I've seen those before. That's what the early style looked like, where they had the indicator. It was real large on the dial. I guess they were trying to tout the fact that it had a 3-day power reserve. Yeah, I've seen those. Now, that watch, has it ever been serviced or any problems ever with it?
Initially, there were problems where the watch would stop intermittently.
Okay.
But after a couple of trips up to Seiko, they were able to fix it. I think really that's probably the way spring drives act if they need lubrication.
Okay, so it was. Did they say what they did to it when they addressed it?
They just did a complete overhaul.
Okay. All right.
And that it's been running properly ever since.
Gotcha. And that was one of the early models. Do you know how long it had been out when you got that?
Probably about a year.
Okay.
Because I remember I finally ended up finding a dealer in New Jersey, Ford's, and I bought the watch from them.
Okay. And so that was the first one you bought. And now
Right.
Steve said that you're kind of a Grand Seiko guy. Do you also have other watches in your collection?
Yes. Mostly, I have a number of spring drives, and then other watches as well.
Okay.
I have a ball.
Okay. Do you have any Rolex watches?
No, I don't really.
Okay.
No.
All right.
And I know that's a big hole in my collection.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that. You got Grand Seiko, so that's a step up. All right, so what did you get after the original spring drive? What was your next Grand Seiko?
Well, actually, that was when I heard about the snowflake.
Okay. And about what year
So
what year would that have been?
I think it was about 2010.
Okay.
And I heard about it on Time Zone.
Okay.
And it seemed like a much more reasonable watch. I mean, I have the snowflake on. This is the snowflake, and so they really, actually, they look about the same, but the snowflake wears a lot more easily than this does.
Well, it's
than the SNR01.
It's titanium, and I think the shape of the case drapes around the wrist better as well. I think that's the shape of it and the weight of it are two big factors on that. Yeah, I had a snowflake. It was absolutely wonderful and very, very comfortable on wrist. And so approximately what year did you get that one again?
I believe 2010.
Okay, so that's about
I bought it
9 years old now.
Yeah.
How often do you
and
wear?
This has not been serviced.
How often do you wear that watch, the snowflake?
Oh, maybe a couple of times a month.
Okay. And how accurate is that one?
It's, I would say, probably easily a second a week. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've measured it.
Really tested it. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because mine is within a second a month. I mean, mine's like about a half a second a month. It's just ridiculously accurate. My diver, and my spring drive wasn't. My snowflake wasn't quite that accurate. It was about 2 seconds a month, from what I recall. So they do vary a little bit, but they're very, very accurate. And so, have you had any issues at all with the snowflake?
No, I haven't.
So it's just been bulletproof reliable.
Yeah.
You know, that's normally the case. Most people I've talked to about spring drives it's just been bulletproof reliable. That's the feedback I've gotten from most people. Okay, so what did you get after the snowflake?
Oh, a number of different spring drives. I have a moon phase at Ananta.
I'm not. What is that?
It's a watch that they came out with. Actually, I believe the Ananta was that they took it from. They introduced it contemporaneously with the spring drive. It's a more avant-garde design. It's not like the Galant, but
can you show that watch?
Sure.
You might want to bring your other watches over too, because I'm going to want to see them all. There you go, folks. There's a time check. We're going to see what other watches this gentleman has. We're going to dig deep here for the facts. That's what we do on this channel.
I'm sorry that they no longer have a moon phase complication. I mean, they obviously have the movement.
I'd never heard of this. This is amazing. Okay, yeah, hold it nice and steady there. Okay. Yeah, and I can see that looks like it was an older watch too, because it's got the bigger indicator on it for the power reserve indicator and all that. What about what year did you buy that one? That's thick too. That's a big watch.
Yeah, it is. It's a very thick watch.
That's probably because of that moon phase.
Oh dear.
That moon phase
no, actually, it's the design. It is the Anantas were all designed very thick, because I can show you the chronograph, which is the same movement that is in the current
Okay.
chronographs.
Okay.
And you can, so it was actually, it was designed to be a big watch.
Yeah, they just made them that way. I got you. Yeah. Well, and I'm sure over the years they've been able to slowly get the movement probably thinner too. They've probably done some
I think they're all
tweaking.
I don't think I don't really think, I think the movements are the same, because this is actually the movement in my original, in my SNR 001 is the same movement that's in the Snowflake.
Okay. Are you going to come to
except
Steve's?
for the design.
Are you going to come to Steve's party?
Oh, indeed. I don't miss parties at Steve's.
Are you going to bring the watches?
I'll bring some of them.
Some of them. Okay. Good. Good. Durr is asking, is that a Seiko or a Grand Seiko? These have all been Grand Seikos so far, except for that one you said had a different name.
No, there's the Ananta.
Now, what is that?
That is not a Grand Seiko.
What is that?
The Ananta was the moon phase.
Yes.
So.
And was that a brand that was sort of parallel to Grand Seiko? And what I'm not familiar with that brand.
Actually, it was a brand that was, I think, and I think probably Joe know better.
Steve, we're getting a lot of feedback.
Still feedback?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Sorry about that. Let me change over. I'll just go to my sound on my...
Yeah, now you're muted.
Okay.
Steve's having technical difficulties.
As usual. Sorry, folks.
Yeah. All right, so I'm hearing feedback on my voice. So do you have something turned on where you're monitoring the show?
Not me.
Okay, interesting. All right,
Are you here?
It sounds okay now.
Okay. So that Ananta was a subline, I think sort of like Prospex or Presage.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if it's still current.
No.
No.
I remember when I was down at Arizona Fine Time visiting Joe, and he said, "Oh yeah, they discontinued the Ananta."
Mm-hmm.
So that was like maybe in 2012.
Okay, so you touched on a little bit of your adventuresome watch collecting. You've pretty much been all over following Grand Seiko, haven't you? Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
I used to, when Arizona Fine Time was a dealer, I used to always go to the events that Seiko would have, because there was nobody selling locally in the Washington, D.C. area. And so it's really about the only opportunity I got to see the watches in metal.
But you've also been to Japan, haven't you?
I went there in 2017 on a trip that was organized by Fratello, excuse me. Mm-hmm. But actually, it was done in cooperation with Seiko. And so it was a week in Japan. We spent a day, did a day trip to Morioka and went through the spring drive manufacturer. And then, Shiojiri is where the spring drive is. And then Morioka, where they do the mechanicals. And that was an overnight. Yeah, but it was a fascinating trip. I enjoyed it.
Steve, can you call back on another device on your phone or something? Because we're still getting those audio issues. I don't know what is causing it. But
okay.
If you could just hang up and just call back, and I'll connect you back in.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. Okay. Sounded like you had a helicopter running there or something. Okay. So I would like to hear about your experience in Japan. Did you actually, were you allowed to go in the factory and actually see them working?
Oh, yes. In fact, they took us through both facilities where we saw the watchmakers, and at both Shiojiri and Morioka, they all had their own desks, and they would be assembling movements.
Okay.
And let's see, they gave us exercises too to do. In Shiojiri, they gave us a dial to assemble, and those are terribly difficult because each of the pieces is inserted by hand.
So they had you actually work on a watch? They
had us work on a dial, yes.
Wow. That's super cool.
It is. And then in Morioka, they gave us a movement to disassemble and reassemble, where I ended up breaking the pallet lever.
So how many of you all? So how many of you all were actually playing around with the watches like that?
10.
So there were 10 in the group.
Right.
That is really cool. Now, the people that you were interacting with there from Grand Seiko, did they seem like really cool people? What were their personalities like?
Oh, well, the people the person who was leading the group was Fumio Fumio, and he actually worked for Seiko in Tokyo. But he took us around, and he would take us on the trains and take us to the various stops, and we went to dinner at a place called Ninja that was just fantastic. It was amazing. It was very entertaining. It was all set up like a Japanese medieval castle.
Wow.
And oh yeah, in fact, one of my coworkers goes to Japan with his wife and his son, and I recommended that they go to the restaurant.
Wow.
So his wife is Japanese.
Now, how did you happen to go on this trip? How did this come about?
Joe actually contacted.
Say again, Steve?
I'm suggesting you might want to tell them about Joe Kirk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Joe Kirk.
Who will be at our event also.
Okay.
Joe Kirk is the person from whom I bought my first the snowflake.
Okay.
And we've known each other ever since that, and I still am in contact with him. And so we're pretty.
Now, was he with Arizona Fine Time?
Yes, he was.
Okay, because I remember the first time I saw a Grand Seiko was his video that he did years ago of the diver's watch. And that was the first time I became aware of them. And then, of course, many years later, I ended up buying one from Steve. But, yeah, that's how I learned about the spring drive diver, was his video.
Joe now works for Grand Seiko. He's their trainer. And he's a huge expert on Grand Seiko. He will be at our event on May 9th.
Wow. Now, was he the one that actually did that video that I'm talking about? Do you know the video I'm talking about, Steve? From like 7 years ago or something?
That's before our time as dealers.
Yeah, it was well before your time, absolutely.
Well before.
That's why I didn't buy one, because there was no dealer anywhere near me. And then I put it on the back burner, and then I found out about Steve, and then that's how I ended up with one. So there you go. That's how it works. All right, so let's go. Let's fast forward after your trip to Japan. How many watches did you have when you went to Japan? How many Grand Seikos did you own at that time? Do you remember?
You know, this is always embarrassing. It's because I haven't got a. I can't tell you the number off the top of my head.
Okay.
It's probably around 10 to 15.
At that time?
Yeah.
At the time when you went to Japan?
Yeah.
Okay. And how many years ago was that?
That was only, a couple of years ago.
A couple years ago. Okay. All right.
2017.
Okay. And what watches did you add after that trip?
Oh. Well, I added the 8-day.
8-day, which we saw, yes.
I have a peacock.
Okay. Let's take a look at that.
And sure.
There we go. The peacock. And that basically has a dark green dial with the gold GS.
Right.
And it's not, the colors don't really come across real well on this feed, but I think folks know what it looks like. That's a gorgeous piece.
It is.
And who did you buy that one from?
I bought that from Steve.
From the Steve store. There you go. Okay. And how has that one held up?
Oh, it's held up beautifully.
And Durr says, "Holy smokes, how many GSs does he have now?" Well, Durr, if he could count them, he wouldn't be a true collector. That's the definition of a true collector. They don't know how many they have. So there you go. All right, so you got the peacock, and you've got the. Let's take another look at the 8-day, just for folks that came in late.
Sure.
And here's the rose gold 8-day. That is such a clean dial. That dial is just absolutely stunning. Yeah, just hold that there.
In person, one of the
and then, Steve, you're breaking up a little bit.
It's gorgeous.
You're breaking up a little bit. Say again.
I just said that is one of the most impressive watches you will ever hold. That image just doesn't do it at all justice.
Yeah, that is absolutely stunning. Now, was that one of 50, Steve?
What is on that, Mike? It's one very few.
It actually has a standard serial number.
It's
the 23rd, but I think it's a limited production and that they're only making about 20 a year.
Yeah, I thought it was one of 50, but I guess that was a different watch I'm thinking about. But that is stunning.
Right. Yeah.
So Greg Good says, okay, he's my hero. He has the 8-day. There you go, Greg. Absolutely. So, Greg, are you going to come to Steve's party? That's the question. Let's see. James says, good afternoon. Grand Seikos look great without the power reserve. Yeah, and some of the newer ones now, they're putting the power reserve on the back. I think Steve might be getting a few of those with the power reserve on the back, if I'm not mistaken. That's a nice trick to put it on the back there. And Andrew says, can we all say stunning? What does he think of the new dressy GSs recently released? What are your thoughts of the new models that have been released, the new manual wind models that are thinner, that are like around 12 mils thick or thinner? Have you had a chance to look at those?
I haven't actually seen one yet. I'm looking forward to seeing one. I mean, I haven't actually held one yet. I'm looking forward to that at Steve's.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
I think those are really impressive.
The pictures I've seen are beautiful.
Now,
There you go.
Steve, there's one on the screen right now. Look at that. Wow.
Yeah, that is the the stainless one. That texture on the dial, I don't know how much of that is coming through or not.
We can get it. You see it?
It's beautiful. And then there's two rose gold versions, one with the black, jet black lacquered dial, and the other is a reddish dial. I just posted on Instagram Little Treasury watches, the jet black one. Fabulous.
That's a lacquer. That was a lacquer dial, right?
It is.
Yeah.
You saw that.
Yeah, that's stunning. Okay, so is Baltimore the best place to fly in for the event? Durr is asking. That's probably a yes.
BWI Airport.
Yeah, BWI, yeah.
15 minutes away.
15 minutes, there you go.
Straight shot.
A GS party, we might be able to get the New York City crew up there. Absolutely, yeah, bring the New York City gang down, Greg. That's a road trip for you. That's a train trip or a Lincoln Town Car. Get 5 or 6 of you in a Lincoln Town Car and come on down. That's no problem.
Amtrak stops at the BWI airport. Very convenient.
There you go. And David Williams says a phenomenal piece. May 9th at the Little Treasury from 4 to 8 p.m. It's party time. Hopefully a live stream to boot. There you go. And Greg Good, that's the date, May 9th from 4 to 8 p.m. R. Wags just put it in the chat there. Okay, so show me what other watches you got after your trip to Japan.
I have, this is a quartz watch.
Okay, I'm very interested in the 9F.
Yes, it's the SBGT 241.
Okay.
And it actually...
Oh, that's got the date.
Commemorative.
That's got the date.
That has the day.
Yeah, and with the Rice Link bracelet, how comfortable is that on wrist? I've heard that is just amazingly comfortable.
Yes, it is.
How would you rate that watch comfort-wise compared to the Snowflake?
Well, I mean, I think the bracelet is maybe a little more supple, but the watch is heavier. Oh,
I know it's heavier, but it's thinner. Yeah. It's thinner too, though. It's a little bit thinner.
Yes, it is.
So would you say it's a toss-up as far as comfort?
I would say it's a toss-up. I don't find any of these watches to be particularly uncomfortable.
The modern ones.
So, the modern ones.
Yeah.
So I don't. It's not something that stands out to me that one is more comfortable than the other. I do have a vintage Grand Seiko.
Okay, let's take a look. And
so this is from 1968.
Okay, and that is a Grand Seiko?
Yes.
Is it a high beat?
Yes, it is, as a matter of fact, although it doesn't say so.
Because it looks like it's not clicking a lot of times going around. It looks pretty smooth, so that's why I thought it was a high beat.
Yeah, it is a high beat. And it's from 1968.
That looks neat, too.
It's, I believe, the 6'1".
And it doesn't look like it's terribly thick either. It looks like it's a reasonable size.
Yeah.
Now, how often do you wear that vintage piece?
Oh, again, I try to rotate all my watches. So, again, it might only be 1 or 2 times a month.
And Greg asks about the rice bead bracelet. Is it a hair puller? Does it pull on the hairs on the wrist?
I've not had any issues with that.
Yeah, I haven't heard of anybody having any real issues with that. I think that's a non-issue. What else was I going to ask? Oh, the watch that you just showed us. How long have you had it?
I guess about a year or 2.
Okay, so that one not too long. So James is saying, I love the vintage Grand Seikos. And another viewer says pretty, he likes that one, okay. Okay, so what else do you want to show us?
Well, I can show you.
What's on your wrist right now? What's on your wrist right now?
This is the SBGC 005.
So that's a chronograph.
Yes.
Is that titanium or steel?
It's titanium.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Folks, can you just say wow on that one? There's a titanium chronograph spring drive. GMT, right?
Yes. Yes, I think all the chronographs have GMT feature.
That is amazing. There was one of those on eBay for a while. I had my eye on it, but I didn't pull the trigger. I'm not a big chronograph guy, but that if I was going to get a chronograph, that would be the one. That would be the exact one. So you're wearing that. So how, I guess that's comfortable, or you wouldn't have it on your wrist right now. Does it wear nice on wrist?
Yes. Yes. In fact, this is generally, I hesitate to use the word banger, but it is the watch that I wear most frequently over the weekend.
Well, that's definitely a heavy use.
It is the watch I wear on the weekend.
That's definitely a heavy use watch. That watch can take a beating. Absolutely. That's a heavy duty piece. Paul is saying, I am primarily a Rolex collector and just purchased the limited edition SEGA 387, and I am thoroughly impressed with the beauty of the dial and the WHK. What does WHK stand for, Steve? I don't know the lingo, the watch lingo. WHK, what's that abbreviation for? Workmanship? I don't know what that is. Okay, well, anyway, I need to up my game, says Andrew. Another winner. Mark on late, but wearing 9F quartz. GS SBGN 007 green racing dial limited edition. I have a second exact same watch that I bought for son's graduation. He doesn't want to keep it, so willing to sell it for $2,900. There you go, folks. There's a watch on the block. Make your move. And David Williams says, nice, Paul. Andrew says, wow. James says, do those pushers dig into the back of your hand? The pushers on the chronograph.
No. And in fact, the back is, I don't know if you can see it, but the back extends further below the case. So it rides, so the pushers are about an eighth of an inch, quarter of an inch above my wrist.
So even when you bend your wrist up, there's plenty of clearance there. Yeah, it looked like it was fine. Yeah. And GMT chronograph, packed to the gills. Somebody else says it's a banger. Thomas says banger. That's the new term to use. Okay, there you go. We'll call it a banger. I call it heavy use. I want GS to release a 9F diver between 42 and 44 mils. A lot of people are asking for some smaller divers watches. Some people are asking for 40 millimeter divers watches. We'll see if they do that. That'd be interesting. All right. And now what else do you have we can take a look at? This has been amazing.
I can show you a vintage Crador.
Okay. A Crador. So, okay.
Yes.
Take your time. We'll do a time check right now. It's 35 minutes past the hour, according to my Grand Seiko Spring Drive Stunner. That watch is within 1 second Greenwich Mean Time. It is on the second after months of use. Scary how accurate that watch is. Somebody made a comment on one of my videos. They said, well, it doesn't really matter how accurate a watch is. I said, yeah, for some people don't care about accuracy. I said, but I do. Some people don't do shows that start at 5 o'clock on the button either.
Okay. This is the GBD GBBD 998.
Okay, yes, center it right there.
I don't know if you can see that.
Wow. Now, is that 18 karat gold?
It's a skeleton watch. Yes.
Wow.
And I don't know if you can see the face or there's carving on it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all done by hand. And when I went to Japan, I actually got to meet the man who carves this watch.
Can you put your hand behind it, your extra hand,
Sure.
so we can get a little focus on that? Wow. Oh, my goodness. Can you bring that to the party?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, man, it's just focusing in right there. Hold it right there. Oh, no, keep your hand there. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Well, what do you think about that, folks? That's drop the mic. Look at that piece. Wow.
Mike, that was the engraving man was in Tokyo, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the high rise, yeah. They do all the engraving.
Andrew says, Crador, oh my God, I'm going to just put my head in the toilet. No, don't do that, Andrew. Don't do that. Jeez. All right. For me, accuracy matters a lot, Craig. I must admit it. I'm envious of that accuracy of your diver, 1 second per many months. Yeah, it's insane. I got a good one. Steve sold me a good one. That's all I can say. It's freaking amazing. And okay, now did you say that you have another Crador?
Actually, I do have an H2.
What's an H2?
Uh-huh.
Ishi 2? Oh no, I'm bringing out the big guns now.
Yeah. Bring it out. This is gorgeous.
I'll bring it out.
Okay, bring it out. I'll switch to the time check. It's now 38 minutes, coming up on 39 minutes after the hour here live. And skeletonized movement, nice to look at, but can be hard to read, Thomas says. Yeah, that watch is just for something where you're going out to dinner, you know, and you just want to, like, blow the Rolex wearers into the weeds. That's what you do is you wear that one, and you just have about half of it exposed out from your cuff. You don't want to hit them with the whole thing because they won't be able to be revived. You hit them with about half of that watch, and the Rolex owners are just going to curl up in the corner and be playing with blocks. They won't know what to do. Okay. All right, here we go. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. Now that's for somebody who wants just a really elegant dress watch. Just very elegant. Now, is that platinum?
Yes.
Okay, so that's platinum. And that now you want a dress watch that's easier to read than the skeletonized one. And there you go. And can we see the side view to see how thin it is? Yeah, it's nice and trim. Yeah. Okay, it says that we are live again. So hopefully we are live again. Let us know in the chat if it's coming through. There is going to be a delay. Okay, so where were we when we left off, Steve?
Where were we? We were just finishing up the H. I just want to point out, last week someone asked if I could get any watch, what would it be? That was it. It is arguably one of the most beautiful watches ever made. Simple.
Now, which one? You talking about the platinum Crador?
Yeah, the H2.
Okay.
H2. The one with the porcelain dial and the hand-painted markers and the word Crador is all hand-painted. Takes a day for the person to do that.
Okay, and how many of those do they make each year?
Several a year. You have to buy them by reservation.
Several. So have they been making the H2 for a while? How long have they been making it?
I don't know exactly, but they've been making it for a bit, and every few months I get the word that there might be one coming down the pike if I have a customer that's interested. But usually you're going to have to wait a couple of months minimum, sometimes longer, to get one. And all that finishing on the back is absolutely world class. It's done with handmade tools that the people in the micro artist studio make themselves. They even grow a special wood for the burnisher on the anglage. I have some photos of that. I visited those workshops about a month away from when Mike was there with a group of dealers.
Gotcha. All right. Well, is there anything else that that we should say before we wrap up? And then I think somebody wanted to come in. I don't know if it was Andrew or somebody else had asked about coming into the show. If you do want to join the show, let us know in the chat, and we'll bring you on in. And but anything else we want to cover before we wrap up?
Well, I want to thank Mike for letting me drag him into this. I think it's something new for him, and we really appreciate it. It's an awesome collection. You should be very proud of it. And thanks so much.
Okay, well, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and the important thing is those that are coming down from New York, you know that you're going to be able to see these watches in person and a whole lot of other really cool watches at the party. Give the rundown one more time on the party, Steve.
Okay, it's going to be on May 9th from 4 to 8 p.m. here in the store, Little Treasury Jewelers. The announcement will go up on our website shortly, and we will have a online form that we ask people to RSVP on, so we can be sure that we cover everybody with Japanese food and single malt Japanese whiskeys and all the other good things we'll have besides the watches. And again, we will have Joe Kirk, the super expert on Grand Seiko here, as well as Gary Anderson, the East Coast manager for Grand Seiko. So it should be a good time. There'll be a lot of collectors locally here as well. We're a very cordial group, a lot of camaraderie going on. And do come on in if you can, and we'll definitely take good care of you.
Well, there you go. All righty. Well, this has been fantastic. And Thomas says, thanks again for your time, Mike. Durr says, there's a GS dealer 1 mile from my house, but I'm still going to Little Treasury Jewelers. Well, there you go.
Thank you.
And Paul says, Craig, definitely agree with you. Now, GS definitely on par with Rolex and probably better for many reasons. There you go. All right. I hear you, especially for a heavy use watch. Absolutely. All right. Well, I thank you all for coming on. And we will see everybody at the big party. It's coming up right around the corner here.
If not sooner.
If not.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
If not sooner. Thanks again.
Okay. Signing off.
Thanks.
Yep.
And Andrew, if you want to come in, just give me a call on the Skype, and we will connect you right away. Absolutely. We'll make that happen. And it looks like Carlos tried to call Saturday. We missed his call. So we'll see what happens here. And if anybody else wants to call in here before we wrap up to share your thoughts, nice one, Craig. Great vid. They're in the house. Let's see here. Stand by in case we get this other call coming in. And nice meeting these guys. Thanks, Greg. Well, thank you, Greg, for being in the house. And like I say, if you can talk those other New Yorkers into coming on down, bring them on down, and come hungry. He always has great victuals. Steve knows how to put on a party. All right, let's check the time here before we get ready to wrap up. It's 8 minutes before the hour. And it's a beautiful day here in Maryland, in mid-Maryland, right near Camp David. And here comes the call. Okay, we got Andrew in the house. Coming in from the UK. Andrew coming in live. What do you think?
Can you see me?
We can see you. What do you think?
So I'm in a hotel room. I'm away on the. I'm doing a training course for work. I've started a new job, new career. I'm doing some training in Wales. So I'm in Wales at the moment.
Okay. Well, there you go. All right. And what did you think about the show? And what did you think about those watches?
Oh, stunning. When he pulled the IEG2 out, that was it. Game over. Game over. That watch. That's something else. I mean,
that was check.
It takes a day just to dial.
Yeah, that was just checkmate, right? Just checkmate.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
What do you have on your wrist? What are you wearing?
I'm wearing. Let's see if I can do it without. Let me see. Actually, if I put the phone that way, it might be a bit better.
Yeah, and it's best to point that. Yeah. Okay.
It's a Seiko Mac. What's it? A Mac meter. 200 meters water resistance. All right. I went in the pool with it earlier. It's still working.
Well, there you go.
So,
there's your travel watch. Your travel watch in the house. All right. So
it's not a bad watch. No Grand Seiko, but it's decent.
Yeah.
It's decent.
So are you going to be are you going to be able to make it to Steve's party, or are you going to be busy working?
I'll be working. It's a long old flight as well, isn't it? I'd love to come. I really would, but we're starting a new job and that it's a bit all.
Gotcha. All right. Well,
most of your views.
Yeah, I'm going to I'm going to wrap this one up because I'm getting hungry and I got to get a little bite to eat, and we're going to hopefully we'll do another show between now and when the event happens, so we can kind of talk about more of the plans of the event and all that for those of you that are planning on making it. But Andrew, hey, enjoy your training, and
thank you very much.
And best of luck with your new career. Keep us posted on that.
Nice one.
And we will talk to you next time.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'll speak to you soon, yeah?
Thank you. Yep.
All right, Craig. And goodbye to all the listeners.
There you go. Andrew in the house, reporting from his hotel room. He's in motion, making things happen. Time for some sweet potato. Thomas in the house. Absolutely. And it was funny. The other day, I caught a little bit of the Clivester show, and he was talking about, dieting and what works and what doesn't work and so on. And I was thinking to myself, well, here's the deal, folks. Don't take advice on how to lose weight from big people, right? They're not the ones that give you advice. Just like Dave Ramsey says, don't get financial advice from your broke brother-in-law, right? And he also says don't get advice on how to be in shape from somebody that weighs like 300 pounds. So that's the deal on all that, folks. Just pay attention to who you get your advice from. What's for dinner? Hoffman's roast beef time. I might pick up one of those tomorrow. I'm not having one of those today, but I'm going out to do a video shoot tomorrow, and depending on what time that wraps up, I might swing by and pick one up. I had one the other day. I posted a photo of it. It was out of this world. Andrew, thanks, Craig. Well, thank you. And thanks to R. Wags. Well, there you go. He's always in the house. And, yeah, we're going to call it a day. That was a productive show. I'm looking forward to seeing those watches in person. If my flight left Baltimore at 8:15 p.m., what time would I need to leave Little Treasury? He says it's only 15-minute drive to the airport. So, you know, that depends on, everybody says you should get there 2 hours before the plane flight. I don't buy that, especially if you're just using a carry-on luggage. I think if you're there an hour before the flight, I think you're fine. I mean, so if you got there at 7:15, I think you'd be fine. But yeah, he said it's literally 15 minutes from the BWI airport. That's what Steve said. So feel free to call Steve at Little Treasury and chat with him, and he can give you all kinds of advice on travel advice on where to stay and how much time you need to allow and all those good things. He has people coming in and out, flying in and out all the time. So for me, it's about an hour and a half drive to get there. So, you know, it takes me a little while to get there, but that's okay. RWAG's Little Treasury is 20 minutes from the Baltimore airport. The airport says 2 hour early. Yeah, again, I think if you're doing just carry-on, I don't think you have to do that anymore. I mean, I don't like to fly. I'll be the first one to tell you guys I don't like to fly, but sometimes you have to. DMV Real Estate with Pam. Would love to talk to you more. Just tuned in here for the first time. Starting a new show. Well, you should start a show here on the network. We'd love to have you come on, Pam, and do a show. Absolutely. And talk about real estate. Absolutely, positively. We bring you, and you could also join the show live, come in via Skype, and we'd talk all about that good stuff. But yeah, that would be a fantastic show to have on the network. Let me know, folks, if you think it'd be a cool thing to have Pam do a live real estate update show. Like, let me know, where's your biggest county? Where are most of your listings, Pam? I'm here in Frederick County, and we do a lot here in Frederick County as far as promoting local businesses and all that kind of good stuff. But I'm not sure which county you let's see, real estate, absolutely let me know when. Yeah, and we also did, for a while, we had a realtor that did some live streams on the Frederick County Facebook page. That's why I asked you about Frederick County, because we have a very active Facebook page, facebook.com/Frederick County, that she did some real estate update shows, and those were pretty popular. So yeah, that would be kind of cool to have some content like that on the network. Andrew says would be cool. There you go. Absolutely. We'll get some folks that are relocating into the area to kind of learn about everything around here. Let's see. So I do a lot in Montgomery County. Oh, cool. Yeah, Montgomery County is high dollar. I have a place down in Montgomery County too. Absolutely. And yeah, we have a sister website down there, MontgomeryCountyMD.com, that we do some work with. New shows, real estate. There you go. Secure Real Estate Girls Live. There you go. Secure the URL. All right. Let's see here. DC, Maryland, and Virginia. New real estate show. Yeah, absolutely. You know, realtors, it surprises me that realtors don't do more to leverage the internet. Your average, you know, most realtors out there. I work with one up here that's with Long & Foster that is doing a pretty good job. He's starting to do some videos and do some things to leverage the internet, David McGuire. But a lot of the realtors, they're still operating like it was 20 years ago. Like there was no such thing as YouTube, Facebook, all these tools, right? Some of them post a few things on Instagram and so on, but they don't leverage the internet the way they really should leverage the internet. So, so Pam, send me an email and we'll get you on. We'll do a show, and we'll get you on and talk about what you're doing. Absolutely, we'll do that. My email is my name, CraigShipp@gmail.com. 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 So send that, and we will certainly do a live show to talk about what you're doing and what you're up to. That is what we'll do. All right, folks, I am going to wrap this puppy up, and we're going to see all of you at Steve's party next month. And if he can get Christina Denny to come down, that'll really be, she's a great MC. And got it, thanks, okay. Well, there you go. See, Pam is in motion. She's making things happen. That's what we like to encourage on this channel, is we connect with people that are making things happen, that are out there mixing it up, in motion. And Pam strikes me as the type that she's in motion. She's not waiting for things to happen. She's making things happen. So that is super cool. So again, click subscribe, and click that little bell so you'll get a notification next time we go live. And I'm going to wrap this puppy up. Thanks again, everybody, for watching.